Welcome onto the field here at Autzen Stadium here in Eugene, Oregon for the Oregon State-Oregon Civil War football game. This is the Orange Media Network football preview. I'm Josh Worden, the play-by-play voice for KBVR FM. To my left, Brenden Slaughter, the color commentator and sports director with KBVR. To my right, Brian Rathbone, the sports editor of the Daily Barometer. So, Oregon State in its final game of the year, coming in at 2-9, no bowl game this year for the Beavers. Meanwhile, the Ducks with 3 losses on the year, trying to get to a big bowl game of their own. Let's look at what the offense and the defense need to do. Brenden, we'll start with you. Kind of the 3 things we're looking for, keys to the game for the Oregon State defense.
Well, I said it kind of goes along with the offense. They can't spend the whole game on the field. You know, you look at the Oregon Ducks, and when they have the ball, they score very quickly. They're going to have to try to play keep away today. The weakness of the Oregon team is their defense. So in terms of Oregon State's defense, they need to not be on the field. Second of all, they've got to try to shut down Royce Freeman. When Oregon does not get Royce Freeman going, which has not happened this season, but when he's been slowed down, the Ducks have been in closer games. When he's ran for 100-plus yards, then they're able to open it up, play action with Vernon Adams Jr., the read option. Things get messy in a hurry, so they got to try to shut down Freeman. And then they got to contain the talented and speedy wide receivers of Oregon. You got Braylon Addison, Darren Carrington, guys that are just faster than fast on the edges. They got to try to line up with them. And Oregon State secondary that got lit up again last week versus Jake Browning in Washington. They got to try to shut down Oregon's fast wide receivers as well.
All right, so the Oregon State defense, a tough test to handle today against the Oregon Ducks. Meanwhile, for the offense, Brian, the 3 keys to the game for the Beavers.
Well, Brenden kind of touched on this a little bit. I mean, the one way that the Oregon State offense can help out the defense is by holding onto the ball, having long, sustained drives, really establishing a run game, and keeping the ball out of the hands of that Oregon offense, try to slow them down a little bit, not let them get in rhythm. Secondly, they need to have a clean game. The field conditions right now, it's really cold out. You can probably see from our, the fog coming out of our breaths. But, I mean, the ball's going to be a little bit harder than usual, going to be a little slicker, so they're going to need to take care of the ball, when they're carrying the ball, securing it. That'll be key. And finally, they need to find a way to protect Marcus McMaryion, making his first career start in what is a hostile environment in Autzen Stadium. Then get him into a nice little rhythm, keep him off his back, then they might be able to stand a chance.
It's going to be a cold one. We'll be lucky if it hits 40 degrees here in Eugene. Let's get some score predictions for the Civil War, the 119th game between these 2 teams. Brenden, how do you think it's going to shake out?
I'm sticking with my same prediction I put in the barometer earlier this week. 61-10 Oregon. I think Oregon State will score first. I think they'll get the ball and they'll go on a very nice drive and score first. I don't think they'll get much going after that. Oregon's offense right now is playing like some of the best in the country, and I just don't think Oregon State can shut it down.
All right, Brian?
Yeah, I don't see this game being very close for very long. Oregon's offense is rolling right now. Ever since they got Vernon Adams back, they've been clicking with wins over Stanford, Arizona State, and another team. But they're playing really well, so I'm going to go 42-17. I see this game being similar to Washington, where they'll get out early and then kind of maybe just run the ball every play in the second half.
Couple picks for Oregon. I'm going 49-17 in favor of the Ducks, but it's the Civil War. You never know what's going to happen. So for Brenden Slaughter, for Brian Rathbone, I'm Josh Worden. Thanks for watching the Orange Media Network football preview of the Civil War in Eugene.